Whoa, YouTube, it's me, Vince7, and I wanted to talk about my new water cooler. I zoomed in a little too much. So anyways, let's just get right into it. To get back more on the professional side, I decided to jump on the microphone to talk about the H80I V2. The H80I V2 is one of the better cooling systems you can get for your system, especially if your computer is a small case like mine. Now, I actually had the H100 and I tried to install it into my small case and it just wasn't happening. So I had to stick with the singular fan-sized radiators. Now, looking on the screen, you'll see the Ace-Tech 550 LC, which is what I previously had in my rig to keep my CPU from getting too hot. Now, this exact system right here is not really that great. I wouldn't recommend it to really anybody because after the first year it got extremely loud. Now I can't really compare it to time-wise because I haven't had the H80 for longer than 2 weeks, but compared to when I first had the H80 versus the 550, the H80 was a lot colder. It was a lot quieter, even versus when we first got the 550. The 550, though, has one plus side versus the H80, and that is the size. The H80 is actually double the size and width, and I'd say it even probably has a couple centimeters more. And for people who have small cases, like I do, this is a big problem, because as you can see in the video right now, the H80 is actually getting blocked, or it is blocking the CPU part that I need to keep the cooling system on. Now I actually had to take out my whole entire rig and put that on first, then put on the fans and all that, and it's still blocking it, which causes a issue because a lot of people will say that isn't a good idea because it's keeping it close and warm to the radiator, so the radiator will also heat up and it'll also cause warmer temperatures. Another good thing about this, though, is, or maybe even a bad thing, I haven't had any problems yet, and I might actually have cooler readings versus, you know, what I'm having now, if it wasn't for the fact that I used the setup. I used the 550 setup with all the back plates and the screw-on parts for the CPU and the cooling system. I didn't change it. I just decided that it was worth a try to try it, and if it got too hot, I would just have to take my motherboard out and switch it all around. Which, with luck right now, I'm only reading around, you know, the lowest I've had is 23, and that's not all the time, but that is like a good 30 to 25 is a good average temp for me at idle speeds. Now, my final thoughts on the H80i V2. It is a great liquid cooling system. It is amazing for someone who just wants to strap it on there, who has the right size case, but doesn't have the size case for an H100. It's a little bit overkill, and if you plan on overclocking, that might be the overkill that you need. For me, it is way overkill, because I don't overclock. I like to record video games, and I like to play video games. And yes, that's a little bit more strenuous on the CPU, but at 100% CPU, it was holding 50 degrees. And I don't overclock, so really, that's really good for something that was at 100 CPU, versus what I use is at 50, maybe 60 CPU. It's a great system, but if you have the case size for something bigger like the H100, I wouldn't recommend the H80. If you don't plan on overclocking and you don't plan on using a lot of CPU strength, then I wouldn't recommend the H80. I would recommend the H50, H60, something smaller that you're going to be safe with no matter what. And Corsair has the best policies for their products. Like, if I've seen a lot of people who have had their systems destroyed. Well, not a lot of people, but I've had a few people who have told their story that their system got destroyed, or rig, as some people may call it, destroyed because of the water cooling system, you know, leaking. And Corsair was very good about customer service on saying that we will replace it. Brand new system. Now, I can't guarantee that's something that will come with every opportunity. I mean, if you mess up the system yourself, that's your fault. But for the fact the CPU needs to be cooled, this is too much. I wouldn't recommend it. I would recommend the H50 for someone, H60 for someone who wants to just play video games. I'd recommend a bigger cooling system,
such as the H100 for someone who wants to overclock, record, and they're just going a little bit overboard. And the H80 might be right for me because I like to record, I like to play video games, record, and talk to my friends using multiple programs. So I still wouldn't say it's right for me, but it's right for me right now because I plan on getting a bigger case and getting the H100. But for now, the H80 will do. So that's pretty much it, guys. Thank you for watching. My name is Vincent7. Please leave a comment, like, or subscribe. And if you have any more questions or you just want some updates on how the cooling system is going, if it's gotten louder over the time period, or if it's needed some work, maybe I messed up on something, maybe I can give you guys some tips, don't be afraid to comment because I'm here for you guys. This is what I made this review for. So I hope you guys enjoy. Please leave a comment, like, or subscribe, and don't be afraid to suggest other things, maybe some ideas. I don't mind. But I'll see you guys in the next video.